Now, my next guest is a former official in the Obama administration. He currently serves as a CNN analyst and host. Now, we are about as different in politics as two people can be, but I consider him a friend and a Christian brother. He thinks my political views are crazy. I know his are. Seriously, we have some very stark differences, and yet we don't disagree on everything. And I'm genuinely delighted to have him here on our show. His latest project is a new series entitled The Redemption Project. Here's a little preview.
First call that we got of shots fired.
The offender was high on heroin.
I got some drugs I used.
The deputy yelled, "Got a gun."
I just wanted to kill him because he was trying to arrest me.
I knew something had happened.
But the driver doesn't look so good.
As I crest the hill, I
hit Nathan from behind.
Do you even know what you did?
Took his gun from him,
I remember shouting,
put it to his head,
"Don't do it."
and I pulled the trigger.
What is it that you want to know?
I want him to understand he took somebody great, and no amount of jail time will fix that.
There is no closure. Never.
How do you prepare yourself for staring across a table to somebody that has taken the life of their child?
What if he is still a violent person?
I don't know where we're gonna land, but we're all in, man.
Please welcome the host of The Redemption Project, Van Jones. Van, great to have you with me. I'm going to get right into the background of this because it was a criminal justice reform effort that you were a very integral part of called First Step. Talk about why that was so important to you.
Well, I just think that everybody needs a second chance in life. We've all done stuff that we regret. We've all done stuff that we wish we could do over. Maybe not to the extent of going to jail, but I think that's a part of the human condition. And unfortunately, in our country, we have now the biggest prison population in the world. 2 million people locked up, 4 million people caught up on probation and parole. And it turns out that too much of anything can have a negative consequence. And so both political parties, I think, are starting to realize if we believe in liberty and justice for all, we might need to reevaluate how our prison system is working to maximize human freedom and dignity while keeping everybody safe, and there's some smart ways to do it.
Well, I was very involved in some of the early discussions of this, and what I was most impressed with, Van, was that this brought together people for all over the political spectrum, people from the left side of the Democratic Party and the far right side of the Republican Party.
Absolutely, and especially I think because the Republican Party at its best is really concerned about liberty and making sure we have limited government, making sure that we respect individual rights and freedoms. And if you have too much incarceration, that gets eroded. Democrats tend to be more focused on social justice, making sure that the little people don't get run over by the big people. Well, that's why we have liberty and justice for all. Those are the two core elements. And when you bring those two forces together, it was the strong conservatives and the strong liberals who came together. It wasn't a mushy middle.
You know, I don't think anybody views you, Van, as a mushy middle kind of guy. And I want to speak to that because I thought it was incredibly significant that when there was so much blowback against you personally for having been involved and even going to the White House to meet with the president, but you separated the person from the issue you cared about. And you never backed off of that, even when you were being relentlessly criticized. So speak to just how frustrating it had to have been at times that your attacks were coming from your own ideological brothers more than it was coming from the guys like me on the right.
Well, listen, that's the test, isn't it, though? Right is right and wrong is wrong. And for people, I told my liberal friends, and it wasn't just my ideological brothers, it was my friends, personal friends. But what I said is, I've been in many prisons, as you know, as a lawyer, as an advocate, trying to help people, trying to change laws. I've never met anybody in prison who told me, Van, I'm in this prison, I'm being brutalized, I miss my family, I want to come home, please help me. But whatever you do, don't talk to any Republican. I've never heard that. I've never heard that from a single person in prison. The people who have children who are locked up, who have parents who are locked up, they don't care who's in the White House. They want their loved one to come home to their house when it's appropriate. And we have to put the people first. And I thought it was a test. If I disagree with Donald Trump on 99 things, and I'm going to be passionate about that. Well, what if I agree with him on one? Will I be just as passionate on the one thing I agree with him on as I was passionate on the other 99? Now, if I'm not as willing to be just as passionate where I agree with him as when I disagree with him, well, then shame on me. Now I'm a hack. And so I just refuse to back down on it. And the harder they punched at me, the more I realized there's something wrong in this country when somebody's worked on prisons for 25 years and I'm on the left side of Pluto on every issue. But I can't go to the White House to support the president who wants to sign a bill that if you just put it on a piece of paper, every liberal would be championing. So we're going to now say that until, for 4 to 8 years, we're going to abandon the people behind bars? That's not right.
I want to talk about the project that came out of this whole experience for you. It's this project in a series of incredible specials on CNN called The Redemption Project. Describe to us, first of all, what is it you did? Because I think it's absolutely stunning that you pull this off, and I'm anxious for people to watch it. Even if I'm having to tell them to go watch it on CNN, I'm still going to tell them to do it because it's such a good project. But explain to us what the Redemption Project is and what they will see.
I have felt, and we've talked about this before, I have felt that the culture has gone 180 degrees the wrong direction when it comes to grace, when it comes to compassion, empathy, listening, forgiveness, all the things that we're taught in church, in our houses of worship, taught by our grandparents. It's left the culture now. It's all what's fashionable and what's trendy today is call out culture. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna cancel you. I'm gonna block you. And where is the grace? And I think that's just poisonous. And I want to put some medicine into the culture. So I went the complete opposite direction. And I found people who've done really bad things and have gone to prison. I don't mean they put up a bad tweet. I mean they've done bad things and they've gone to prison for it. And they want to make amends. And they want to atone. And they want to be forgiven. And then we went and found the people that they hurt, or the people, frankly, that were surviving family members. And we got both sides' story. And then we just filmed them talking to each other face to face for the first time while that person tried to atone. And I'm going to tell you, if you can get through an episode without at least dabbing your eyes, go see the heart doctor. I mean, I'm just trying, Governor, to put forward some positive examples of people with much greater barriers to having a human conversation than those of us in politics, and hoping that will bring some grace back into the culture.
You know, Van, for people who know you and who know me, they probably realize we'd be hard-pressed to find political issues we agree on, but they'd also probably be shocked to learn that for several years we've been friends and consider each other Christian brothers who love God, and because of that, do love each other. Thank you for being with me. What a pleasure to have you and talk about this extraordinary project.
Well, thank you, and I want to thank you. You prayed with my family when I left the Obama White House and under fire, and I was suffering so much. You prayed for my family. You were there for me. You didn't agree with my politics, but you said that I was a worthy person for grace, and our relationship really started at one of my lowest points. And people don't know how many people like me you've helped, that I know, and I brag on you all the time.
Well, I appreciate you and love you as a friend and brother. Thank you for being with me. And I want to tell everybody, be sure to see the Redemption Project series on CNN. It airs Sunday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern. That's 9 o'clock Eastern on CNN. Find out more about what Van and I are probably debating politically by visiting vanjones.net. And you can keep up with him on social media at vanjones68.